respond to me.
Wait, is this 0 to 9? Is this the order of the decades? Is this like a ranking thing now? Or
No, this is watch 0 or 1, I guess. Watch 1 to 9. So
oh, okay.
the decade is the zeros, the noughts, right?
Well, there hasn't been 9 decades.
Watch 1 to watch. On that note, I realized that none of that was actually recorded. So, welcome to the Sting of Time. We've just watched the movie for the 50th time, which, as you just said off the recording, is the last zero. There will never be another zero again in the Scorpion King's timeline.
Never another 0. Never another hero. Never
I think
another.
that depends.
Never another Bero.
Let me loosen up a bit here.
Never another. What do you do?
Uh,
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
but you said that we probably haven't really given notice to the decades, as you called it,
Mm,
uh, which I think is true. But before we get into what today's episode is actually about, which is, I guess, something we'll get into when we get into it.
yes.
Let's do, because we're basically, I'm not going to say we're at the end, but we're very close to it.
We can certainly see the finish line.
Yes. Let's talk about the decades and what we can remember from them and talk about them. Because one thing I want us to do, either before next time, because we'll see, maybe we won't actually get the Anna guest, but we'll see, or before the live watch, I'd like us to go back and look at stuff a bit. Do a bit of a Sting retrospective, as it were. But before we do that, let's talk a bit about what we. Do you have any particular memories of decades, of themes, and of
Well,
thoughts?
I feel like maybe a lot of this will be like an after construction, as we say in Sweden. But it's interesting to consider because one thing that came up during the watch was how it, or at least I thought this to myself as we talked about, but we talked about like when we had the first real modifier, which we concluded was the Nosferatu watch.
Yes.
And the Nosferatu watch was like watch, what was it, 13, 14,
11.
11, yeah. and that would mean that the first decade was a completely regular watches, with guests now and then. But I distinctly remember that we made kind of like a big deal of, oh, we watched it 10 times, now we are in the double digits,
Yeah.
kind of thing on the podcast. And I feel like maybe as we transitioned from the first decade into the second decade, we might have mentioned it maybe once more, and after that it kind of slipped out of my brain, as regular modifiers kind of took over as the kind of thing that occupied my Scorpion King space in this regard. And I know this isn't exactly what you asked, but uh, but it's what I'm thinking of now, because I've been thinking a bit about the nature of the modifier arcs and that sort of thing, and how I'll hijack the question a bit, but like how I've been thinking a bit about how, if we hadn't done any modifiers at all, because we kind of talked a bit during the watch about how the modifiers kind of or sort of has become a bit maybe more prominent than they were really ever intended to be, and how the modifiers first entered into, the thing just because it's like I can't watch the movie. Like we watched the movie 11 times or whatever. We gotta spice it up somehow, or like we deserve that. We know the movie well enough now. We can put a modifier on it that will, etc., etc. And it's kind of make me feel like, what would the experience have been like if we had been completely stalwartly
Mm.
never done a modifier of any kind.
Well, you say that now, but I think at this point, I'm quite sure that it wouldn't really been that much different. It probably would
Mm.
have been just a bit more boring for everyone.
Yeah, that is. I was gonna get to something similar like that. That I don't feel like the modifiers have been some kind of like life saving
No.
thing that oh we would never have been able to do it without because obviously we would have done it without the modifiers. I mean I would do anything and so on. So so uh, it's something that I could just kind of be. Like, it becomes worse if I say it out loud, but it's almost a bit like I'm kind of regretting that we have done so many modifiers because it could potentially a little bit diminish the
I think that's
effect.
bullshit.
Yes,
I'm gonna do like a quick thought about the decades in a bit, but before we do that,
mm,
let's dispel any fear you have in your head, right?
okay.
So, what are the actual real modifiers we have done that have tampered with the movie? We've done Nosferatu, which
From
actually probably the most impactful thing.
yeah.
Well, no, I'll give you the most impactful thing. I'll give Evil Beware the most impactful
Mm,
thing. Evil Beware. We've done the remix.
but I mean, to me, I feel like no reverse
Yeah,
watch.
okay, reverse definitely counts.
Yeah, uh, unsure if we should count like mirror watch
No,
because the
fuck
mirror
that
watch
shit.
is like
Doesn't
who gives
matter.
a shit.
Did nothing.
Yeah, speed up watch I wouldn't count either
No.
because that's like I mean anyone can speed up a movie like fast forwarding
Yeah,
through
and
it.
we
It's like
watched it at like 1.2
yeah,
speed as well.
exactly.
It's
So
like not
it's
really.
doesn't matter.
So that's
Uh,
like 4.
I will count the inverted colors watch. I feel like that is
I don't
something.
think that counts. Because I don't think that's. I understand the point you're trying to make in that it's a significantly different experience, which it was. But I don't think it is. The different experience is still so
Yeah,
insanely Scorpion King.
I kind of get it, because it has exactly. It's just like it's like a filter,
Yeah,
It's like uh, it's like when you play, like you play an old game, like a pixel graphics game on an emulator, and then it's like, oh, it's if you add a CRT filter on it, it's a completely
yeah.
different experience. Is it? Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it
what's
is not.
a Super Falcon? Is that the smoothing?
I
One
don't
of
know.
those.
I'm not a nerd like that.
But I think it was in Z-SNES, I guess, which in Sweden is called Z-SNES.
SNES.
But in exactly that vein,
Mm,
I would not count something like the interpolated watch a tampered with watch in that sense. But that took the movie from 24 frames to 60 frames.
mm.
I think inverted falls under that sort of
Yeah,
area.
yeah, sure.
So that's like 4. And I think even in those 4, at the very least, at the very very least, 50% of the experience is wholly Scorpion King.
Mm.
So I don't know. I don't think we have to
Well,
fear that.
I acquiesce to your perspective in this matter.
Yes, good. I also think it would be really fucked up to have not seen Nosferatu Scorpion King,
Mm.
which I think probably is still some sort of highlight.
Yes, I feel like that's like 20 years from now, in terms of once the internet has been wiped and computers don't exist and all that kind of thing. Uh, what I'll remember from this, if someone like asks me, "Oh, remember when you watched that movie 52 times?" I'll be like, "Yeah, it was really cool when we watched it with Nosferatu." you know,
Hmm.
modifier. Shall we
No,
move on into no?
no.
Okay, I will not
I
move
just
on.
want to quickly just do this, right?
Mm.
So we have the decades, right? We have the knots, 0 to 9. Let's give a tagline. Let's name the decades just from what we feel like they were possibly. 0 to 9.
Mm.
I'll just shoot something out here, and you can respond to
Wait,
me.
wait. Is this series nine? Is this the order of decades? Is this like a ranking thing now, or?
No, this is watch 0 or 1, I guess. Watch 1 to 9. So the
Ah, okay.
decade is the zeros, the knots, right?
Well, there hasn't been 9 decades.
Watch 1 to watch 9. 1 to 9. This is one, the decade, the
Ah,
knots,
now
right?
now I
Yes.
understand.
Yes.
Your rebus has been deciphered.
I feel like this is like, maybe you could call it the baseline, something like that. I feel like the theme of watches 0 to 9 are sort of, there's one part which is just like the baseline, right?
Mm.
And then there's one part which is like, uh I'm not gonna say the both of us, but I feel like I definitely felt like it was like, oh, this is a show. We're doing a show for like, I don't
Mm.
know, like 6 episodes or something. There
Yeah,
was
like
editing.
yeah, it's a bit performative, you know.
Yes.
It's like this is entertainment
There was,
or whatever.
we had review rewind. We had the
Mm.
dubious Dwayne details.
Yeah, going in on stuff like, aha, look how this is totally, like a thing. It's like a real thing
Yeah.
that has names in it and all the stuff.
Okay. So let's call it the show.
Mm. The age of show.
The age of the show, which is also a wrestling thing. I think someone has called the show.
And I don't like that name anymore.
Then we have 10 to 19, which is
Mm.
the tens. Uh, we have our first remix, our first parameter in Nosferatu. I also think we have remix. I think remix is like 19 or something.
Mm. I'm not gonna look that up.
Yeah.
I shall trust your
But this
assumption.
is where we start to tamper with it more, I think.
Mm.
I also feel like this part of the viewing was sort of, we've gotten into a rhythm and it feels kind of natural.
Mm. It has become habitual.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that this is the era of habit,
Let's just call it the habit.
the habit. In a hole in the ground,
Yeah.
there lived a
The
habit.
habit. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that 20 to 29 is the pain.
Mm.
I feel like this is our low point. This is definitely where we had the episode.
The way you said that, it made me feel like like that this era is pain. I just heard like it's pain. Whack. But yeah, yeah. I feel like spontaneously, like remember, this is I would say is about the era when when I more frequently, maybe not on the podcast, but like during watches, start saying shit like I can't believe there's so much left of the movie,
Yeah.
and I have such a headache, dude. I don't want to do
Yeah.
this today.
I feel like the 20s both encompass like, it's the pain watch, which we just want to stop. There's the watch of
mm,
you and me on the couch is like dead at your
yeah,
place. There's you in the fetus position on my couch in the
yes,
apartment.
I remember that very clearly. That was a horrible watch.
Yes.
I feel like
Didn't you almost
or
die before we watched the movie?
yeah, because that, or no,
No, that was the Anna watch,
that was
right?
the Anna watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that watch, the fetus watch. That sounds horrible to say, but uh, I feel like in my memory I held it together somewhat well, and you know me pretty well, and you know that me like sitting in a couch and going into the fetus position is like not some sort of like I'm doing this as a bit. It's like a
No.
performative thing. Like I wouldn't do something like that. And like that was the cope required to being able to make it through the watch and remain somewhat Oscar through the rest of the experience. Like it's like Galadriel looking into the thing, the water holder, as it is called in English, and she's like, I shall remain Galadriel. Like my going to the fetus position, that was my dark queen moment, kind of thing, and I passed.
Yes. You passed the test. You
Yes.
will diminish. Uh, okay, sure. We have the pain. Here's one for me. 30 to 39. I don't remember any watch.
Mm.
I don't know what the fuck happened in the 30s at all. Can you tell me one thing you think happened in the 30s?
Without looking at the channel and like thumbnails and stuff, uh, in the 30s, I would say that maybe late 30s was the Forest Watch.
I wonder. I wonder if that's very early
Oh,
30s.
I thought you were looking at them, so
No,
you would like.
I'm not looking at them
Oh
at
well,
all. I don't.
never
I'm
mind
just
that.
doing this from memory.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel kind of that way, and
hmm.
I would not be surprised though that I would be completely off
It
in that
feels
regard.
also possible to me that Evil Beware might have been late 30s.
Mm. I feel like the Evil Beware might be early 40s because
Yeah.
I felt like Evil Beware it dragged so long, especially like that I started to feel, man, this is not going to be finished before the whole thing is over,
Oh
and
yeah.
so
Okay.
on.
But to me, like if because I'm with you that the Forest Watch is probably in the 30s, which would make sense in some sort of like timeline of the year,
Mm,
because we know how the forest looked at the point of recording.
yeah.
It was sort of early autumn.
I will say because I'm not looking at thumbnails now, but I looked at the thumbnails. We quickly glimpsed them during the watch, and something I reacted to but didn't say, just like silently noted for to myself was with what you said now about the time of year that they
Yeah.
were like. There's the thumbnail of the first Marcus watch where we were on the couch at my place, and I was thinking like, wow, everyone's so everyone's so lightly dressed in this.
Yeah.
How irregular, and that is because it was summer,
Yeah.
my dude. It's also it has been winter so long here.
Yes.
I am over
Yeah,
winter.
I'm definitely over winter as well.
I want it to be summer again.
Uh,
What's that era
yeah,
called?
I wonder what we call it,
The
because I feel like if the
may,
only
may,
thing we
may,
can remember is the Forest Watch, maybe it's just the woods.
yeah, it's like the Void Century in One
Yeah,
Piece,
but I kind of like the woods because you can get lost in the
Ah, yeah,
woods, you know.
the
So it's
Lost
kind of a
Woods. I can
double
sell them. Yeah,
thing.
it's just the woods.
Okay, 40s.
The 40s, I feel like is definitely like the age of heavy modifier,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
now things are like, here's where the um how should I put it, or rather like here's where obviously I know we have the Game Boy Advance game, because obviously that's in the 40s because this is the 50th
Yeah.
watch and that sort of thing. But like because they or rather I should say this, that the 40s is the era where there was no regular watch, no matter what how heavy or light the modifier
Yeah.
was, because we have not had a regular watch of the movie until now. It feels like, basically, I think last
Yeah, it
time
was
was
guests or modifiers basically.
yeah, exactly, because that's what I mean.
We could call it the change.
Yeah, the change of ways
And
and the
which I think
dreariness of the
50s,
days.
this has to be called the end,
Mm. The
right?
end times.
Yes, let's call it the end times. So we have the show, the habit, the pain, the
Mm.
woods, the change, and the end times. And with that, I'm going to move us away from this scene into
Ooh.
the final
I have the power to become slightly smaller.
tier list. We did a tier list at Watch 21, which is sort of it's something we look back at now, kind of laughingly,
Yeah.
to think that we
You can
had.
see how I'm laughing.
Yes, me too. I'm super laughing. But to think that we had sort of the hubris to make a tier list, but
Mm.
us having made a tier list at 21 is, I think, pretty good at this point because it means that at some point, when we finish this, we'll take a look at the other tier list, which we
Yeah.
both have not done. So we're
Yeah,
trying to do
we
this.
barely any memory
Yeah.
of where things placed in the last tier list.
But I do remember that last time we just elected characters, and I feel like we might as well just get to it.
Yeah.
We haven't added any characters. We're doing
No.
this.
This is the same pool.
Yes. So there are some possible omissions, but I decided that we ought to do it so we could make a comparison, and you acquiesced to my request. So
Yes.
here we are. With that, I will give you the first pick.
I shall be extremely basic and pick the first one in order that I see Angry Foreigner.
Angry Foreigner. So we have the Angry Foreigner. I'm going to put him in C just as he's there. We're
Yes.
talking about him.
I will spontaneously say that Angry Foreigner. Is this the first time we refer to him as Angry Foreigner on the podcast?
No.
Okay.
We should add that he's the Angry Foreigner not because he is a foreigner to us,
No.
but because we think he looks like a content creator called the Angry Foreigner, which
Yes.
perhaps is also potentially a bit
Yes.
weird and racist, but it is less weird and racist than the first option. So we'll take that.
Yes. Without further ado, I feel like he has dropped off immensely.
Yeah.
Because this guy has not been part of the discourse for many a moon in these lands. I feel like he passes, like unnoticed ripple on the wave of time every watch.
Yeah.
Never do we make us anymore a snide comment or oh look it's him
No,
and that
like
sort of
I
thing.
think the only mention of him is sort of it's 3 levels deep in the meta where it's you're mentioning the Angry Foreigner because we haven't mentioned the Angry Foreigner for so long.
Yes.
It's sort of remember this. So where do you feel?
I would put him in E, to be honest, and the reason why I don't put him in F is because he has given more than his fair share during the project in terms of laughs and relief from the experience mid-watch, that sort of thing. But as of right now, he seems so inconsequential to the entire thing.
Yeah, I would perhaps
So it's like
put
a
him
legacy thing.
Yeah, I would perhaps put him bottom D. Because I feel like putting him in E is a bit weird when I don't think he has ever been a negative force.
That's true, and I also now that you say I'm starting to think like if I like set the standard by putting him in E, that will have to change later once we get to other characters who definitely deserve to be in E.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead with lower D.
I'm gonna see if I can do a thing here.
We're gonna do something awful that you will not regret,
Well,
but I will regret.
I always forget how you do this because it's so horrible. Whatever, I'm not gonna do it. There's an option in Photoshop where you can just have it so that you can, if you click a layer, then you automatically select it.
Such comforts are not allowed D. You must do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, so we'll put him in the bottom of D for now.
We'll see what kind of bunkmates he gets.
Yeah, and I feel like one thing I'd like to add before we pick the next character. I think I'll let you keep picking for a bit.
Okay.
But before that, maybe we could try a potential thing here where before we can talk a bit about the character, of course, but before we put them somewhere tentatively, we can both decide in our head where we would put them,
Mm.
and then we can reveal it and we can have a discussion, because I feel like we might just influence each other
Yeah.
a lot for lots of these sort of minor-ish characters.
All right. Screw it. I'll take a big one right off the bat. Memnon.
Whoa. Memnon. Okay, we have Memnon. Memnon, who
Mm.
I definitely feel in my head, he's probably going to be on a rise from the last tier
Mm.
list, but I can't
I
really
definitely
recall
feel so.
where we put him.
I feel so myself.
But you said something this watch,
Mm.
or
I
no,
said,
I think I actually brought it up, and then you
yeah, it
sort
was
of clarified almost our
the
feelings.
rare you saying you said, but it was
Yeah,
actually you.
yeah,
So, but yeah, you said how. Now I misread because we said so many things about man.
yeah. I
But
think I said at the sort of midpoint of the movie, I was saying that this is the first time in a very long time that Memnon hasn't really been doing much for me. He's
yeah,
been for maybe like 20 watches. Memnon has
yeah,
been a
and
pretty standout
exactly.
point.
And then I said that like I'm over Memnon, not in the way that he has dropped, but that we're so close to the end that I'm not really thinking too much about what anyone is doing in the movie or like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
like
then
Memnon has carried us over
exactly,
Charon, over the river of the dead of Styx, and
yeah,
we are at the shoreline, and we've just, you know, we've let go of
we
his hand. We're gonna walk the
yeah
last part of the
we have disembarked.
journey.
And then towards the end of this watch, uh, we said like, Memnon is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like Memnon just rose when he said when he was talking to the sorceress and was like, "You escaped his grasp. I'm not without my vice. I'm well aware of that." Like that, we were like, "Memnon's such a giga
Yeah,
chef."
I feel like
So
generally speaking, his really great parts are in the throne room.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but okay, let's
Yeah,
just on three. I can go first, and I'll say where I put him, and then you can go, and we'll see if we add up or if we have some sort of tension there. So
should we say it at the same time
no,
or will
whatever.
you just
Let's no
try?
countdown. I'll just say it. I'm
Okay.
gonna put Memnon in middle to low S
Mm.
right now.
I was Yeah, I was gonna say high S for me.
Yeah. So let's do a middle for now.
Mm.
And I shall overhand it to you, as they say.
Mm. Okay, here's one that's gonna be also a bit of a or other blast from the past kind of thing, but shirtless gladiator guy background
Mm.
at the in the epilogue.
Let's see if I can actually find him
It's
here. Yeah,
between the dates
I can
and
definitely.
Jessup.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't matter because the list of layers has nothing. It's not correlated at all with the lists of how they're in visually.
This guy, I am responsible for this guy originally because
I think
I'm
you're
one of
responsible for the creation of this guy
yes,
as a
I was gonna say
character.
that absolutely because that's what I mean. Because I pointed him out, however many moons ago. Was this guy in the background is pretty funny how he's like talking to and do like who and I'm like oh it's this guy oh yeah there is and then I guess I kind of forced it for a few watches like oh there's the guy haha the guy and then he just completely disappeared.
Mm. But we did
He
have
had yes
yeah.
I was gonna say he had a small resurgence when we started to or rather you pointed out like is that guy the same guy who stands next to Balthazar in the camp when he's like where you going with my horse and like that sort of thing and I doubted you like "Ah, it's not the same guy come on it doesn't even look the same after having seen it some more times since then I'm convinced it is the same guy
Yeah.
wearing a really goofy hat,
Yeah.
helmet kind of thing. And it's funny how he appears there, and it's like Balthazar is riding away in the epilogue, and this guy is like it brings so much more nuance to what he's talking about with the woman he's talking to, because he like leans over to someone and is like, hey, are you seeing this shit, kind of motion is what he's doing. It makes it extremely funny to me, because it's like, I can't believe he's just leaving or whatever, like, hey, I managed to sneak away, he's leaving without me, like, and it's so that added some character to
All
him,
I
I
had to
feel.
do was take the hat off.
Yeah, exactly. I took the hat off and I'm just another guy,
Yeah.
nobody recognized me.
Well, I've
I don't,
decided where I'd put him.
yeah.
So let's hear you first. Where do
Oh,
you think he ranks?
okay. I rank him high C.
That's interesting because I also put him. I'd put him mid C. So
Mm,
he can go here for now. He can go under Memnon in the C
yes.
corridor.
I won't motivate it further. We should move on
No,
rather.
I think weird. I definitely would have put him. I would have possibly put him E or F if
Yeah.
the
The
yeah, the
resurgence helped.
resurgence has
That's I should leave it at that.
done a lot. Keep going, keep going.
Yes. Okay. A guy from the start getting hit in the eye with a shuriken.
Yes, I believe the layer is called Eye Guy. I'm just gonna say something here. I'm gonna
Mm,
put Eye Guy in F.
yeah.
This guy doesn't exist to me anymore.
No. I feel like he never really did exist, did he? Well, we've never really had any particular, you know,
There was
words for eye
I'll
guy.
say there was he existed possibly in the first two watches because
Mm,
he's the first thing you recall in the second watch,
yeah.
and
Oh,
he
it
did
like, oh, it's this guy
yeah,
again, kind of thing.
and he had a spike, I think, a minimal spike
Mm,
when we watched
the
the
behind the scenes.
Chuck Russell commentary where
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, oh,
exactly.
he's
Where this guy is, he's someone related
yeah,
to the
he's
product,
the
like,
stunt guy Mark's brother,
yeah,
Emil
it's
or something.
completely who gives a shit.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, he is okay.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Low F,
yeah.
I would say.
I'm
I mean,
I'll
because
include it.
it's someone has to set the standard for, like, I am the lowest
Yeah.
here. Like, who can be lower than this guy in the game? So yeah,
Yes.
shall I keep
Yeah,
going?
let's move on.
Uh, with his sorcerer by his side,
Oh, yeah, okay.
no one can defeat Memnon.
This
Guy,
guy is, let's see what he's called here. Uh, all the names are so wild in this document.
Evil Beware fans will recognize this guy as Geed, of course. He's gonna party like it's 9.99.
Oh yeah, of course he's called Mortal.
More. This
This
guy has a
guy,
history.
yeah, he has a definite history. I think
Uh,
for a
y-
long time he was probably one of the most prominent.
yeah, like the prime, you know, character
Yeah,
for like someone who, and I feel like he has been fairly consistent throughout the entire project.
yeah.
Rarely has his screen presence gone unnoticed.
I'll say though that I feel like he has had a definite drop.
Yes, but I mean, like, overall,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. He's definitely a contender for.
compared to, like, Angry Foreigner,
Yeah,
it's a night and day.
yeah, and it's sort of, I think, something that makes me like No Mortal more than a lots of the. I almost say bit characters, but they aren't even bit characters. They're
Mm,
people with lines.
yeah.
Uh, I feel like No Mortal Man is a character that because if we watch the movie with someone like Jimmy or Marcus or something,
Mm,
and we go, "Oh, did you see Barbarian? Did you see Chatty Barbarian?" And they go, "What the what the fuck are you talking about? Are you insane?" You can go like, "Oh, sorry, it was a joke. I don't know." Like, but No Mortal has your back because he's so visible that if people
yeah,
don't notice him, they are weird.
exactly. He is someone that we can be weird about him without being too weird,
Yeah.
like, without it being too weird.
So I
So
don't know.
yeah, so where would you place him?
Where would I place him? I'd probably place him at the very least high A.
Yeah, I was gonna say low A
Yeah,
rather.
okay, low A. So let's put him mid. Let's put him like
Yeah.
here. And we'll see what happens.
Yes. All right. I'll keep it rolling.
Yes.
Here's a good one. Guy riding on elephant, because I feel like we can quickly put him at another very similar ranking.
Okay.
I'll start off immediately that I feel this character is identical to Shuriken in the Eye Guy for me,
Yeah.
because like he is an example of someone who might go slightly above Eye Guy just because he's basically the same character, because he is also revealed to be in the behind the scenes or in the commentary track that, oh, this guy is actually, the assistant catering production manager or whatever. So
Mm.
he,
But I
and
should
so on.
remind you that the ranking here is for the elephant, not the guy. And
That's true.
I'll remind you that he's also the elephant is ranked primarily because we watched Marcus play
Mm. Well,
Beyond
I
Two
remember
Souls.
that. Don't worry about that. I know all about the elephant.
Yeah,
Elephant is my favorite book.
story.
Oh,
It's your
yeah,
favorite
story of
bedtime
it's
story.
yeah, it's not even a book. Yeah, it's just a story.
um,
A story no one will get aside
yeah,
from
it's
present company.
completely impossible.
You are in the dark on this one.
So in
But
this case,
okay.
I feel like elephant is more the boon from being mentioned in the director's
Mm,
commentary is bigger because there's something more than
just a story.
yeah, and the screen time is I think technically longer for the elephant than the eye guy.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. I would say so.
But yeah,
Uh,
you just give me your placing.
Middle E.
That is funnily enough exactly where I'd put it.
Mm. Because the elephant story is, prime uh, things. It's an extremely good thing, but it's completely unrelated to
Yeah.
Sting, so it
Well,
diminishes.
it is sort of it is unrelated, but it's also related because you and I watched Thing and Marcus was in it, and I feel like
Mm,
Marcus is a definite part of
yes,
Thing.
yeah, he's a double
So
part.
yeah,
Essentially, he's practically a member of the podcast at this point. All right. Okay. Moving right along. Here's one you've been wondering about. Uh, let's hear dates.
dates. Dates has to be called dates here, right? Yes, of course it is with caps. Yeah.
Dates.
I mentioned this while we were watching because we knew we were gonna do the tier
Yeah.
list. Well, I should say we were actually good about not talking about this during the watch. But some stuff snuck in, and I had thoughts about like where I knew dates was on the list,
Mm,
but I had no fucking clue where we put dates last time. And I'll say that dates is, I'll say simultaneously, like we talked about quotable lines from the movie.
mm.
Dates is like a super quotable line to me, which
Yeah.
is fucking
I feel like
moronic.
I feel like we say dates
Dates?
every watch,
Yeah.
but we don't think about it
Yeah,
at
yeah,
all.
yeah.
Like it's not like how, like. No mortal can defeat them. Now it's like and it's like fun. Then we're like imitating it. We just like say dates, like the way someone would say "ouch" when they get burned.
Yeah.
It's whatever. We
Yeah,
don't
I feel
reflect
like
on it at all.
I'm mostly preoccupied. My brain is preoccupied with either the ancient Sting meme of Memnon uh, uh,
Memnon sweeping across the
sweeping
land.
across the land,
Um,
which is truly ancient, or the arm wrestling scene.
mm.
Those are
The
sort
arm
of the
wrestling scene
two
is
things.
high computing power at
Yes.
that point.
Um, So I don't know where I'd put him. I'm gonna try. Do you have any opinions on him? Or I'm gonna try and see where my mind.
Um, do you mean where I would put him, or like just general opinions about him? I think
Either you can do.
I think it's funny how he fucking looks with that sorceress,
Yeah.
like she's a complete moron
Yeah.
after she snaps out of it. And for that reason alone, I would put him just like one above Angry Foreigner.
Yeah, it's so funny that you think I was gonna say the exact same thing.
That is where he belongs. Okay. Let's take here's let's Queen Isis. Let's discuss Queen Isis, someone who feels like has never been in any sort of spotlight of any kind for the
No.
entirety of the project. How do you feel about Queen Isis?
Jesus. Wasn't there a thing about Queen Isis at some point?
A thing?
I feel like was it you or someone else that thought
Yeah. You gave me a very hard time over the fact that I, uh, in a lapse of judgment, accidentally revealed that I thought Queen Isis was the same woman
oh
who
yeah,
is
in the bed.
laying in bed with
Yeah, yeah.
Balthazar,
I think
and
that's kind of interesting because to me that would have made such a big difference to my viewing experience of the movie
mm,
and the character of Queen Isis because
yeah,
for you she has a lot more weird depth than for me. I guess not anymore, right? But
not anymore.
not anymore. uh, but I don't know. Queen Isis to me is a character that, despite her screen time, I think her most she's so weird. Her
Yeah,
character
she
is
is
so
weird.
weird.
You know what's the weirdest part about Queen Isis? The weirdest part about Queen Isis is when she is about to roll out of the way from Takmet
Mm.
riding over her with the horse, and she like yells like "oh," and then rolls. And if you pause there, she looks absolutely completely moronic. She looks like a cartoon character. Like her mouth becomes like this big, and it's like this. Like it looks like someone who is. I don't. You expect it to be kind of like she would coolly roll out of the way or like do some kind of
no.
like kind of thing. But it's like someone who it's like some weird like staged TikTok of someone show like it's like that. Oh shit, a rat. Oh no, like, it looks completely surreal. It's like some David Lynch shit.
Uh,
I don't
that
know.
whole scene is just weird.
Yeah,
And it's
it
kind of
is.
weird that she's sort of in every quarter of the movie as well. Maybe
Yeah,
not just the she's in the beginning. She's in the fucking
yeah.
meeting. She's in the
She's in
meeting.
the meeting. She's in
She's
the
in the
vision.
the vision. She's at the
Uh, sh-
camp. She's in the fight
yeah,
at the end.
yeah, like talking shit at Balthazar. Then she looks at Balthazar and Dwayne in the "What glory will be left for me?" And then she's fighting with the Amazons,
Yeah.
stabbing the guards, like blah 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 all that. And then she says "Hail" at the end, like okay,
Yeah, but oh yeah, that's true. I'm gonna go and say that I'll put her at the maximum. My high end for Queen Isis is under the elephant.
mm.
That's my high
I
end.
was gonna say middle E. So there you go.
Sorry, that's not Isis.
Because there is no possible reality in which you can justify a higher position for
No,
Queen Isis. She is not a character,
no,
and she has not she's not even like she hasn't enticed any sort of stingy and reaction
no.
at any point. She might as well not exist. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
and if people disagree with this, they are wrong. Like it doesn't
Yes,
matter. We watched the movie 50 times.
yes, we know better than anyone.
Your
Even
list is worse.
like the actress playing Queen Isis, if you ever watch this for whatever reason, and because someone told you that we placed you in middle E, I'm sorry, but you are wrong
Yeah,
about
and
yourself.
also if you happen to watch this actress of Queen Isis, whose name I do not recall, do consider who we are definitely going to be putting under you. So like
Yes,
don't sweat it, okay?
it's okay. I'm sure you'll make it through.
Yeah.
All right. The third Arcadian brother. Not brother, sorry. The third
Okay. Yeah.
Arcadian.
What's his name? It's something with
Yeah,
R,
you
right?
always flex about his name, so you have to
Isn't it
say his
like
name.
Ramon or something?
Ramon Salazar.
uh, I don't think he's actually called what his name is in this
Yeah.
list. He's called Acadiano.
Man, I can't believe they made a Resident Evil 4 remake. That's completely baroque in
Yeah.
every way. I can't believe it. Disgusting. Well, all right. The third
I
Arcadian
feel like
brother,
this guy has got to be quick. Give me your gut feeling on him, because he's not a
bottom
fucking
F,
character.
the worst. Who
Bottom F.
cares?
Okay.
Yeah, lowest
Uh,
of the low. It's funny that he dies.
yeah. Yeah. Sure.
One
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
bottom F.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, we'll give him
exactly.
bottom F because
All right, next.
it sort of isn't really.
Okay. Not Viking.
Yes, he's called Mesopotato.
Mesopotato.
I'm gonna say that I kind of enjoy
Yeah,
Mesopotato.
I was gonna say that he's not someone that we like actively comment on a lot, or like there's not that many memes or whatever about him, but I feel like he kind of he might get a bad rap mentally because he is at the start of the movie where you're still like, oh boy, here we go. But I feel like he kind of, he does a good. I'm not talking about like about the actor, but like the character. The character does a good job of, you know, easing you into
Yeah, I think he
the
sort of
movie.
elevates it. I think
Yeah,
for
and I
the
think,
people
mm,
watching us talk about this, every time we start this movie, and not even that, this movie starts with a sort of panoramic, beautiful view of the Alps.
mm,
That's what it start with. And it's I'm gonna say it's a good shot. Like it
yeah,
looks
sure,
good. At this point, uh, for example, you just watched a stream archive of the Diablo 4 beta, and I
mm,
checked it out afterwards after you mentioned the thing, which is that the game starts with
yes.
shots of mountains with snow on them. And that shot makes me feel physically bad.
Yes, I commented as much as well.
Yeah,
She said that it made me feel, or my exact words was, watching this made me feel a certain kind of way,
yeah,
and that means bad.
yes. And consider that something as nice as a beautiful panoramic shot of
Mm,
mountains makes us feel like shit. And this guy, I feel at the very least, is value neutral
yeah.
on possibly the worst part of the experience every time.
I will say this about him. Like, I see this as a positive about him. I like that he stands up to Dwayne.
Yeah.
This guy, like
You missed.
he keeps coming, you know, he leave me alone. He he because he gets knocked out, and then like just gets up and he just immediately starts attacking again.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a big deal to him.
Yeah.
And like he starts talking about like, you missed, and like all that, and then he
Yeah,
gets
and
clowned
obviously
because,
they have a dispatch. They've fucked up his brother as well.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, like it's even more of a, I was gonna save this for the Dwayne part, but I'll bring it up again. But like how we've talked about how Memnon would just like obliterate Dwayne in a 1v1,
yeah.
like if it wasn't all those factors coming into play in the final battle and so on. And I feel like this guy, the Mesopotato, could definitely, he could definitely just kill Dwayne in 1v1 if it wasn't, Dwayne repelled up in a stupid circus act and he
Mm.
did this and that and
Yeah,
whatever.
sure. I do feel like he's an idiot,
Yeah, sure, but
which is
have
fine.
you seen his weapons?
Yes,
I mean,
I do have seen the
what's
Tonka
Dwayne going
Hawks,
to do?
dual
This guy's
wielding
the
Tonka
Torrent
Hawks.
chieftain over here.
Yeah. So,
All right, where will you put him?
I'll put him above the barbarian.
Yes, I was gonna say the same. I feel like he is the
The
champion of
midlist.
sea.
Yeah, the midlist
Yeah,
character.
the true neutral.
Yeah. Okay,
All right.
moving on.
Yes, Farron.
Pharaon. That's
And I'll preface this with saying that we both said that we both remember Farron being very high
yeah.
in the previous one, as one of the few things that we do remember. And I'll say I like Farron, but Farron has definitely dropped off.
Yes, easy. Easy
Yes,
drop.
and I would easily put Farron in low A at this point.
Hmm.
Specifically, I feel like there's no way Farron is above No Mortal
Yeah.
at this point,
That's hard for me too.
because the way we partake in Farron for a very long time has been the and
Yeah.
part. Like of course there's still be quiet and that sort of thing, but the big value from Farron is no mortal can defeat Memnon, and that feels like it's more part of No Mortal
Yeah.
rather than Farron. Farron can't stand on his own with the big leagues anymore. He
Yeah.
needs assistance.
I'd possibly put him at the top of B actually. But how do you feel about that? Do you feel like he has to be A?
I feel like low A. I would rather put him in low A, but I will. You're the one in control.
How about this? How about this? We'll put him top of B,
Mm.
and we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
And we'll see
And
who else we want to populate B
yes,
with, and we'll see if he's significantly stronger than the rest of B.
we shall see what we will see.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll
I
give
think.
you a slight zoom down here so you
Yeah,
guys can see.
exactly. I have to see what I can see. Okay, let's do a quick one. E Honda.
Oh, E Honda. Do you think he's called E Honda in the yeah, he's definitely called E Honda. Of course it is.
I'll make this one quick because what is there to say about this guy? He has never been high value at all, except for the fact that we know he's E Honda
Yeah.
from Street Fighter movie. The only thing we have ever discussed about him is, however, we think that do you think he's like a great real life friend of Dwayne or something like, and that's why he's in the movie? Because this guy is Samoan too, right? And blah 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 blah, like that sort of thing, and it's just completely uninteresting.
Yeah.
And he it's so weird how like every guard looks like some kind of GoldenEye 64 soldier carbon copy of each other physically, and then this wide guy comes in and is like, hello, I am also a guard, you only see me in this one scene and then I get killed or whatever. It seems like a weird cameo kind of thing, like some Casper shit. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I have it in my head where I'd put him, but I'd like to hear yours.
Bottom E.
Bottom E. I was actually going to put him bottom F. But I think you're right. I probably wouldn't put him above. I put him above this guy, but I wonder if he probably takes the place of I Guy for me. How do you feel about that?
No, you can switch. We can switch I Guy and Honda if you like.
Because I feel like I probably, because for the audience as well, there's like the part with E Honda is also sort of weird value wise. It's kind of a sort of odd, semi weird, toxic part of the movie in a lot of ways. Which
there are no redeeming parts to the movie in which this guy's scene is, so to say. All right, moving on. Gods be praised.
Oh, we even have that kid in. Is he called? Yeah, of course he's called Gods be praised.
Another quick one because I feel like we have to start banging these out a bit. F.
F.
Yes. High F, maybe.
Okay, sure. I'll give you high F. I'd probably put him somewhere around here, but I'll give you high F.
And I'll say why I feel he's high F. He has never been particularly funny. He is an extremely, like, this is what the director thinks is really funny and puts in the movie as a gag. you know, and also similarly to E Honda, he's a bit like, oh, I froze in the coin. I wish a naked girl would appear. One does, God be praised. It's like, wow, it's like some naked gun,
Mm. It is a bit
and stuff.
weird, but I do think his character is just kind of odd, and I think the scene is weird, and it also
Yeah.
features Matthias with the possibly the most obvious wig in the
Mm.
entire movie, which I think is super funny. So to me, there are some redeeming qualities to the
Yeah,
Gods
but
Be
that's
Praised,
where I
but
put him above
yeah,
these other
yep,
complete horribles.
gotcha, gotcha.
All right, moving on. uh, Horse thief guy.
Uh, where
Uh,
are you
fat,
talking? Are you
fat,
talking
fat
about?
one.
Okay, you're talking about okay, the fat one. Uh,
What was he called?
he's called the fat one.
Okay, good. uh,
I'll say that this character is one I'm not particularly fond of,
mm,
but I consistently give him pity points for
yeah,
the weird
yeah.
shit
The
talking,
very weird, uncalled for,
body shaming.
yeah, body shaming. Exactly. He is clearly not fat.
Yeah,
He is in excellent shape,
yeah, he's in
and
basically the same shape as The Rock. I'll
yeah,
say.
exactly. So it's completely ludicrous that he is the fat one, which so out of like, I guess, I don't know what word to use, but I guess like respect of his situation, and to point out that this kind of behavior is not okay. I would put him in C.
Mm.
Basically, I feel like he can be.
I think it's hard for me to put him in C. I'd probably put him high D,
Yeah.
maybe here,
Well, the high D is fine too.
high in D.
High D, girl. What? No. Okay. Here's a good one. It's time for a good one. The Tigers.
Okay,
The
this is the
Tigers.
Tigers are super interesting
Yes. This
because
is
I wonder where we ranked the Tiger last
yeah.
time.
Uh, I'll just say immediately that the Tigers had a monumental rise due to uh, how do I even describe this? It feels like it's a bit too
I
complicated,
don't think
but
we ever talked about it, but
no.
there's a mention of a potential time loop where the
Mm,
tiger pit, which is actually a tiger and a lion, has been put. They've been put in a time loop in which they do not themselves know they've been put in a time loop,
yes.
but
What we
they are consistently vibrating and agitated. I'll
Yes,
put it
and
like
the
that.
reason for the what spawned this time is because of the mistake, like the movie goof
Yeah,
mistake, where Memnon throws the meat to the tigers, and in the next cut, he's still holding the
yeah.
meat
He throws
in
the
his
meat
hand.
at the tigers. The tigers go fucking ape shit.
Yeah, they don't go for the meat; they go for each other.
Yeah.
Like they attack each other, and then he's back and he's holding the meat. And this I spawned, the theory from this that they are stuck in a time loop where they are so hungry and like so on edge, like and they never get the meat because the meat they keep going
Yeah.
back in time, and and this spawned like this, and this is very current. Like we talk, I feel like almost every day this comes up.
Yeah, it's if
We
something is vibrating, then the
yeah,
tigers are brought
yeah.
up.
What is that like? And this is a meme school for all the viewers out there. That the way you enjoy the tigers is that you you see something vibrating in a comical fashion, no matter what it is, preferably a living thing, and then you say, "You think I'm cruel, don't you?" And then your mind immediately goes to Memnon, because he froze the meat, and then he says to the sausage, "You think I'm cruel, don't you?" And that actually means you think I'm cruel for keeping my tigers in this infinite time loop where they are vibrating
Yes.
nonstop and starving to death.
Okay, I'm
Uh,
gonna go out on a limb here.
yeah,
I'm gonna put the tigers low S, easy low
yeah,
S.
absolutely, low S. No question. They are the great dark horse
Yes.
of this. What more can be said? Okay, let's bang out a few fast ones, or potentially fast ones.
Let's do animals. Let's do animals.
Animals. All right. I don't remember their names now, even though we talked about them. The nice camel.
So old camel first,
Yeah, old camel.
which I think is just called camel. If I'm no, I renamed it to Shiroko, which is the name of the camel. So, oh, sorry, this is angry camel,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. I was. You made me
No,
unsure
wait,
of
sorry.
myself.
This is old camel, which is the nice camel,
Yeah,
which is weird
yeah,
because it's
yeah,
screaming.
yeah. It
But
is.
this
Yeah.
is old camel.
It's. I am fooled by the
Yes,
emotions portrayed in these portraits.
yes, but maybe
Uh,
that's part of the joke because the
yes,
angry camel is nice.
it is. It is now. Okay, angry camel. Angry camel, great guy.
I think for me, because I think even when we did the first tier list, I'm pretty sure we knew about the angry camel, nice
Yeah,
camel dichotomy, which I
absolutely.
mean probably meant we put the camel pretty high. But old camel has come to represent all animals hating Dwayne for me.
Yes.
So with the knowledge that there was plans for a shot of vultures, but they couldn't keep it in the movie because
Mm.
the second they let the vultures go, they wanted to kill Dwayne.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Stuff like that. Old Camel is sort of the vanguard of that,
Mm.
which means I would probably put it pretty high. I think I have a space where I would put it, but I don't know
Mm.
where you feel.
I would put in top A.
Top A, you'd put it above No Mortal,
Yes, because he hates Dwayne.
but you don't know if No Mortal hates Dwayne. I guess
No,
if No
but
Mortal hated Dwayne,
I know that this camel hates Dwayne,
that's true.
and
That's
that's
true.
what I mean. I'll take certainty over uncertainty
But
in such a
No
matter.
Mortal can defeat Memnon.
Yeah, but okay, put him behind.
Yeah.
Put him behind
Yep.
No Mortal. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's true. I agree.
Okay. So
I'm not
let's do
influenced. I agree.
Young Camel.
Okay, young camel. That's interesting
Yes.
because
Very interesting.
he is like the
Yeah.
originator
You
of.
say he, but we do
Yeah,
have
she.
some new
Yeah,
knowledge that
we learned today that he is in fact a she,
yes.
and
Possibly. I
alleged.
think well the character they play is a she, I think.
Yeah, but I don't care about that.
Yeah.
What I care about is the fact that this camel is like the original take something from Scorpion King and turn it into some sort of endearing thing.
Yeah.
Because the image of this camel is something that we used for a long time to represent, like a good feeling.
Yes.
Like if we were like talking uh, in text form or whatever, like you just like post the camel, like, and it's like I'm gonna post the camel, and it's like post the camel. Ah, that's better, like that sort of thing. And that is since quite a while it's been a thing of the past,
Yes.
really. Like it's not really been a thing, but I feel like the legacy of it has sort of remained still. Like it's something that kind of there's like a cinder of it in the back of your mind.
I'm gonna go
uh,
ahead and say something here that
mm,
perhaps is upsetting to some people. But to me, the lasting strength of hate, of hatred,
mm,
the, is a much stronger, it's a longer burning material than love.
yes,
Which means that I will have to put the camel
absolutely.
below
The other
angry
camel.
camel. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna go for that all the way.
Which is sort of funny because in the movie, like behind the scenes, the young camel is the one that hates Dwayne.
Mm,
But the older camel is in the scenes a lot where it also
yeah,
seems to hate Dwayne.
and yeah, I
So
was gonna say that, and it also clearly
yeah,
hates Dwayne.
and it does it more. It shows more.
Yeah,
So
it's more visceral about it.
yeah. So I'd be okay with putting it here,
Mm.
or perhaps under Pharaon actually.
Yeah, I feel because I feel like I'm like pointing at my screen as if anyone can see it, but but I feel that they Pharaon and this camel belongs together because they represent the same sort of like greatness to drop, but the drop is of the same kind of nature.
Mm,
Like
the
it's
same
not
caliber.
exactly. So absolutely.
Okay, so the last animal is of course the ants.
Dance. Yeah, let's take dance.
Uh, I'll have to.
I think you fucked up the camel there.
Sorry, I'll put it where it's supposed to be. Have to figure out where the fuck the ants are. If they aren't called ants, okay, they are called ants.
The ants have it's undeniable that the ants have been part of a frequent discourse across the project because the ants are like in my mind, this like the premier special effect in the
Yeah.
movie.
Well,
Absolutely,
there's that and the suck.
yeah, exactly. And the suck is not a character,
No.
but the ants are. And the ants, I remember it recently. We talked about the ants, how the or rather you said that the ants, the ants look fine for their time.
Yeah.
Like the ants are not a particularly like bad special effect, and it was in the context of, I think it was in the context of the bad Brits, and like the ants look so bad,
Yeah.
it's so stupid, and like all that kind of thing. And so there's that. But also the previous like regular discourse about ants have been in relation to Dwayne's weird insistence that the ants are real, the
Yeah,
ants
but
are real,
that's
they're
I would
absolutely
argue that's not a regular discourse. That's
no,
a
no, no. But
that's
I
like
mean,
from the tens.
yeah, but I mean like that's that legacy
Okay,
discourse
okay, yeah.
I'm talking about. So, so the ants have been something that very thematically have been popping out now and then during the project, crawling back into view. And I don't know. How do you feel about the ants overall? What do you feel when the ants are on screen?
I'll say that I think for me the ants have pretty much vanished.
Mm, I don't really think about the
Yeah,
ants
I
either
don't I
anymore.
don't really think yeah, I don't think about you anymore.
No.
Is my sort of gut reaction, which is also a positive. So I think I have it in my mind where I'd put him, but I'd like to hear
Mm.
yours first.
I would put them high. You know what? I would put them high D.
I'd put him bottom D, I think.
Yeah, I was considering that, but I was thinking like in terms of I was like wrestling a little bit regarding are they more have do they have more or less legacy value than Angry Foreigner in
Hmm.
terms of like how much value has this given to the
Well, I
watchers?
think there is something to be said for the fact that everyone else in D is an actual person.
Mm,
The ants aren't real. None of them are real. As much as they are definitely a character in the movie, all of the ants are one character. But the
yeah,
fat one, Dates, Angry Foreigner, those are people you could theoretically see in another movie, for example.
yeah,
So I would give it to a person over a 3D effect.
sure,
Uh, when they are sort of put, because I could easily see them technically going anywhere in D.
yeah. Well, let's put them back there.
Yeah,
Let's move on.
I'm gonna pick
uh,
one here,
yeah, feel free.
and I'm gonna say that we should do David Hayter.
Yeah, David Hayter, and I'll, in the interest of speed, I'll spontaneously say that David Hayter is like bottom, very close to like bottom F
Mm.
essentially, because I
Yeah, and we should add that David Hayter sort of represents the entire writing staff
yeah,
of the
like
movie as
David
well.
Hayter represents the entire production of the movie
Yeah,
in my mind.
at least for me the script part, I'll say.
Yeah, and like when we don't talk about David at all
No,
anymore. David was we talked about
no,
like he feels that
we do mention him when we watch it with
with Marcus.
no, with Brits
Ah,
and
yeah, that's true.
Americans
That's
because
true.
they don't understand. They don't
Yeah.
get it. And I'll say that you and me both I feel like it's sort of weird because when we watch it with Americans and Brits and all that, I often feel like we are older than the people we watch
Mm,
it with. Sort of in some sort of weird cultural way, I feel like we're older.
Yes.
Because I definitely had a period in my life when I thought that David Hayter was kind of based.
Mm.
But I think that was like, that died in the early internet for me. Or it was,
Yeah.
let's say the early internet as I was using it. Let's say like maybe when I was playing World of Warcraft, something like that.
Mm.
And I feel like for a lot of other people, even though they're technically older than me, which is weird, uh, they have held on to this thing longer, which I think is really weird. It makes me feel really weird when people are like, "Oh, David Hayter, they're like four rungs behind me on the
Yeah.
David Hayter
It's like
relationship."
David Hayter. David Hayter. Exactly. Like, David Hayter is so cool. David Hayter is Snake, and it's like, who gives a
Yeah,
shit that David
or
Hayter is
they are
Snake?
like at the part where they think David Hayter is sort of a funny hack. And I'm
Yeah.
at the part where I'm like, who the fuck is David Hayter? Like,
Yeah.
don't talk to me about David Hayter. All I know is that he's a weird guy who says shit on Cameo, and it's really sad.
Yeah. It's a bit of like like DC Douglas energy.
Yeah, I no
Like
longer feel bad about Kojima dropping
yeah.
him. I'm at that point with my
Yeah, it's
David
like
Hayter.
it's like you're starting to understand like what might have been going on. Like
Yeah, whatever. I don't really care.
yeah,
Let's put him bottom. Let's fucking
yeah. I
put
don't
him
want to talk
bottom
about
up.
David Hayter.
Yeah.
Forget David Hayter. Know who I want to talk about. I
Yes.
want to talk about Takmet, and I have
Where are you, Jackman?
and I have a very concise placement for Takmet. Takmet is right below David Hayter. That's
I'll
where
say
he belongs.
I'm okay. I'm just gonna jump in here, and I'll say that today was the first time I've ever wavered on Takmet.
Hmm.
And I'll say it's also called
And
Bo in this
I know
document.
why, but I'll let you talk, I
Uh,
guess.
because I mentioned the fact that isn't it kind of cool? Isn't it kind of cool that even though Takmet is a
Mm,
dumb fuck bitch made character that is in the movie for like 5 seconds and has no arc and does nothing meaningful, and all he does is sort of like mean mug, look into the camera and smell things, there
mm,
is a part of the movie where Takmet goes out of his way to be the guy that gets to chop off Tutu
yes,
Sweeney's arm, which I think is sort of like a funny petty.
yeah. It's the kind of thing where like Takmet, like the small crumb of character in Takmet is how he like he's a coward. No, he wants comfort and wealth and all that, and then when he finds out like, oh, but that's the last of our treasury, but dad, like he has, I'll just murder my father. I knew do anything to be able to sit around and eat chicken or
Yeah.
whatever. And like he's obviously like supposed to be like the antithesis to Dwayne, the brave warrior, which is a whole other can of worms. But with Takmet, it's like killing, like mutilating a child. Say no
Yeah.
more. I shall get my. Oh,
Mm.
sorry. I shall get 4XX because I do not have one of my own. I am the right man for
Okay.
this. It's like
How do you feel
so
about
on.
this? Not bottom F, but we'll put him at bottom of E, and he can be
Mm,
next to ISIS, which is sort of also thematic.
yes, I shall agree. Okay, you pick one.
Okay, let's bang out some
Mm,
small players here.
yeah, let's do it real quick because
Yeah,
this is way too
okay,
long already.
we'll do Oscar Isaac. Give me
Uh,
your general feelings on Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac was a bit fun at the start, but he really lost all of his steam, and I feel like we don't really talk about him either at this point anymore. I feel like he belongs in F.
Yeah, okay, he can go here. I'm with you on
Yeah,
it. We have let's do Mustache Man. I'll fuck it. Let's put this bitch bottom F, dude.
yeah, the
Bottom F.
absolute bottom F.
Yeah, because he has
The
he not only is he not a character anymore, he has the weird sword scene
yeah,
where he
and the
doesn't get
only thing
stabbed.
we've ever really said about him is that he walks funny, and it's like,
Yeah.
who gives a shit? Whatever. F. Next one.
Harem girl who represents all of the harem.
uh, F.
Okay, where in F?
Below the guy. at the very
Bottom.
bottom. Yeah, because I hate harem and I hate the harem girls. And
Oh yeah, the
uh,
harem has actually gotten worse since we know that
yeah, the only
Dwayne
good thing.
broke the fucking head
Yeah,
of the guy or whatever it
exactly.
was.
The only good thing, like about, and it's not again, it's nothing personal against the actors, but like the only good thing about the harem and the harem girls is the one harem girl who doesn't, go around Dwayne trying to take his like take where the one who goes straight for the gong and just hits that shit, like come in
Mm.
here and kill him.
I don't think
Because
she's good either. So
no, but that's what I mean. Like she is the best of that, which is
Bogard.
a low bar. Uh, I don't really like this guy. But, I don't like it because he is always brought up like, hey, do you know that this is actually that super stunt coordinator guy that is in every movie? And it's like I don't care about
Hmm.
that.
I
I don't
do
really
like
care that he
some
is.
of the stunts of the movie, though. I do
Yeah,
like
yeah. It's
so.
nothing against the stunts of the movie. I just don't like that it's brought up like this kind of like in all the behind the scenes and the commentaries or whatever. Oh, this guy, he is actually. I know, I've seen him in like every movie, and he's like,
Yeah, I think his name is Al Leong. I always
yeah,
forget, but to me, the lowest I can go is probably bottom D. Like,
yeah.
to
Let's go
me,
for that.
he's still sort of a semi-positive force in the movie. Um,
All right,
let's
next.
see here. We have a Kebab Girl. I'll give
Uh,
you one here. I'll put Kebab Girl bottom F. I'll just
yeah,
fucking slap her down there.
yeah,
I'm so tired of anything. We talked about this with Armpit. I'm so
hmm,
tired of Armpit's arc in the movie and non-arc, and all the shit writing and all the weird interactions he has with the world and what he
yeah,
settles for and what makes him happy. It fucking sucks. And Kebab Girl is definitely a part of
yeah.
that.
This part of that. All right, next one.
What's Handyman? This is
Handyman.
the
Beyond the bottom F.
yes.
Who cares? I mean, and let's be real. The only thing, yeah, like you just did. Oh, this is the
Yeah.
like that's the only thing we ever say. Oh, dude, look,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
kind of weird
who
that we
gives a
put
shit?
him on the list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like why is he here?
It
Put him off the list.
must have been the fact that he was probably something we talked about, like the watch
that that
before
that
the tier
one
list
watch.
or that watch.
Yeah, but who cares? Never mind.
Yak Pisser, where's the horse thief?
Uh,
Here's a character.
yeah,
Here's an
yeah.
actual
Okay,
character.
this at least C.
Yeah,
At
at the
least C.
yeah. I can't see him. I would probably put him above buff
Yeah,
guy.
absolutely. You
Let's
know, yeah, definitely, exactly. This is exactly perfect because if the Mesopotato is like the barometer for the middling character, this guy belongs, right below him
yeah.
because this, he is the same, like oh, he has like the one line or whatever, and but he is really endearing
Yeah.
because like, he drinks yak piss. He
He
looks like
drinks
he's
yak piss. He pisses Jack piss.
yeah, and then he gets pissed.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like it's the triple
the
piss.
triple P.
Yeah. All right. Next
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Next one. We're almost into actual characters. We have the minder
Mm.
of business.
Yes, the manner of business.
I'll
I'll
say,
put.
I'll say here
Mm,
before you put him somewhere. Just think about where you want to put him, but I'll see if I can influence that a little bit. But don't tell me. I think it's sort of endearing. It's in character for the minder of business to be ignored by us.
yes.
He has been minding his business. He doesn't want to get noticed, and now he's passed on into the realms of us not noticing him. He's living his best life.
Yeah, I know exactly where I want to put him. I will put him in bottom A,
Yeah, I can live with that.
just above Pharaon, because I feel, aside from the reasons you just put down, it feels a bit thematic how Pharaon is like the king that we coveted so much
Yeah,
for so long, and this guy who is clearly supposed to be some kind of noble or maybe king from another land or that sort of thing is like and someone who looks, he's at the party climbing the political ladder,
yeah.
and now he has finally reached beyond King Pharaon unnoticed. It's like a house of cards he's been playing, kind of thing.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Uh, we have. Let's see here. We have belly dancer.
Um, You
I
know
feel
what?
it's hard for you to put her somewhere. I
It's hard
think.
because you here you can talk about influence because no matter where I put her, you're gonna have something stupid shit to say about her. Like if I put her
Mm,
bottom F,
I can
we'll
go first. I can go
okay.
first, and then you can try to like
But
swing
for
it a
you,
bit.
I'm sure she's like S just because you've lived.
She has given me a lot. She has given
Mm,
me laughs for maybe 40 out of 50 watches so far. That's a lot. Let's say 35.
yeah.
Um, and my laughs have all come from the fact that you, I think
I
the
said
first time
once,
we
yeah,
watched the
the
movie.
very first watch, I said, oh, I hate this kind of thing. And then that gave you ammunition for 40 watches, like regurgitating, oh, what do you feel about this one, Oscar?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you like of this
Yeah, and
kind of
I've been
thing?
able to ask every person we watch it
Yeah,
with, how
every
do you feel
guest,
about this kind of
and
thing?
they don't know what the fuck you're talking
Yeah.
about, because like, what do you mean, huh? Are you talking to me?
Belly dancing, you know?
Yeah,
So, yeah,
I would
okay.
say that she belongs in C because your high regard versus my low regard ends up canceling out. You
Yeah,
know.
I could put her top of D as well.
Yeah. Well,
I
let's do
think
that
it's a
then.
bit rich putting her with Mr.
Yeah.
Potato.
Because it's a bit of a special
Yeah. And
circumstance.
we only have big fuckers left, basically.
Let's see. Okay. Do you want me to pick one?
Sure.
I'll pick Chessman.
This is gonna be an interesting one because I
Yeah.
know we put Chessman high.
Yes.
Chessman was all the rage for like maybe
Yes.
10 or so watches.
And we also know that Chessman has definitely fallen off.
Yeah.
He has definitely fallen off, and I feel like at this point, I feel like it might have started around the time when we started saying how much at the same time Memnon started to really
Yeah.
rise, because when we started to really, you know, be on Memnon's side when it comes to killing Chestman, and
Yeah.
because of how he undermines Memnon and how he, you know, is as
Yeah.
like this
Given
negative
every
attitude, and
opportunity to
yeah,
stop.
exactly. Like Memnon gives him out after out after out after out, but he's like, no, I won't go out. I want to kill myself or whatever. It's it is baffling.
Yeah.
So I would put him at low D at this point,
Mm.
because I feel like he fell a lot, and the only and like it's only like the legacy factor that keeps him floating above F,
Yeah. It's
or
funny you
E
say
and F.
that because I might put him below Takmet, to be honest.
Mm.
I'm so annoyed every time he fucking opens his mouth.
Fuck it. Put him there. Put him below Takmet. That's what he
Yeah.
deserves. It's like
Fuck him. He could have,
fuck
yeah,
fuck
could,
Mortal Kombat. Fuck bare chests. You
yeah.
know, the,
Yeah, the
at some
fact
point,
that that guy has such a weird legacy as well is such a non-factor
yeah,
nowadays as well, which says a lot. Okay, I'll pick one. I'll pick.
yeah,
I'll go. I'll go Philos. I'll go
mm,
Philos. That's a big one.
yeah,
Character for me that has, I think, as well fallen off.
yeah. Phylos was definitely extremely high up in the previous iteration of the tier list, and has also been a character that's been very high up overall. He started out very high just
Yeah,
by nature of being Bernard Hill, but and you know, giving some choice lines like delicious and all
yeah.
that sort of thing. Uh,
Magic powder.
yes, magic powder. uh, but he's really fallen off, and I feel like I have the way I view Philos these recent watches, or like in the latest watches, is that he's become so much more like a clown.
Yeah,
Like at first he felt like, you know, oh, he's like refined. You saw him more like as a scientist, and we the whole thing, oh, I bet Philos is he's a Greek or something, and
yeah,
you know, oh, he felt like someone you could hold in such high regard and sympathize with. But lately he's become more like, you know, just goofy. Oh, Philos blows himself up, it works, and like all
yeah.
that kind of stuff takes
Something
like
that
center stage.
bothers me about Philos, and I think just as with Chessman, it's something that has come about with the rise of Memnon,
Mm.
is how whiny he is.
Yes, he
Because he
complains.
complains so much because he's obviously some sort of court inventor slash magician for Memnon.
Yeah.
And we know that Thorak doesn't hold him in high regard, but he obviously can't just do something about him.
Mm.
Um, and I would presume that it would be because Philos complains a lot, and probably
Yeah.
Memnon humors him. Uh, and
Well,
I
he do,
find it such bullshit that it's obvious that Memnon isn't asking him to make weapons. He's
mm,
just making shit that is obviously useful as weapons, and when Memnon
yeah.
uses it, he gets butt mad.
Yeah, and it's like the only thing that he said, because he says in his introduction, like, Memnon's always threatening to have my head, like that sort of thing, and and like that's the only thing he
Yeah.
says about Memnon never mentions
No.
Phylos in the entire movie. Like he never meets. They're never in the same scene together.
No.
Nothing. So that's like the only connecting like strand between them, and it's so it is so well, we kind of like say like in a similar way as Chestman does. It kind of drops because he just comes off like similar to the sorceress, which we'll get to, but it's like someone who lives like so lavishly
Yeah,
compared
in
to like
opulence.
95% of the population of the known world or whatever made up number, and he has his own life, and he gets to pursue his passion, but then it's like, oh, it's so boring. It's so boring because I only have 400 Steam games instead of 500 or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like, who gives a shit?
exactly. Uh,
So yeah, he's dropped off,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'll give him up. I'm gonna this might be too much. I don't know. I'll put him below the barbarian.
Mm.
I'll do that.
I feel that's
Oh,
fitting.
it's hard though. They're still delicious.
Put him between the barbarian and the yak
Yeah.
piss.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll do that. That seems fine. Because Jack Pisser has some obvious quotes as
Yeah.
well, so that's fine. Okay. Maybe we'll save some of these. Let's do fucking Matthias' brother.
Mm. Yeah, Jessup.
Yes.
I feel like he should be quick.
Yes. Where do you feel you should put him?
Below chest man.
Yeah, I think he's at the
Yeah.
most he's here. He's possibly generous, but at least he dies, right? So
Yeah, and he has never contributed. Like we have never had like anything. Oh, it's funny how Jessup. Like who gives a shit? Who
yeah.
gives a shit about Jessup?
Though I'll
Who
say
cares?
we don't have a character. We don't have a certain character, a guard who brings him in on
Yeah.
the list,
This one still lives.
and he's sort of tenuously connected
Yeah.
to him. So we'll give him that.
Mm.
Um,
But that will not affect his ranking.
no, but it puts him where he is now.
Yes.
Let's
All
do
right.
Tutu.
Yeah. Tutu. Tutu.
Tutu. Uh,
Tutu.
Tutu for me. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna put him below. I'd put him below the brother.
Yeah. Like who cares
Yeah, who
about
fucking
Tutu?
cares about Tutu at this
Who
point?
gives a shit? Never goes anywhere. Never is like not good for anything. The only interesting part he's contributed to the project is he's like a music guy
Yeah, it's like his
today.
name is Tutu in real life.
Yeah, his name is Tutu. That's interesting. It's like fucking fart. Who cares?
uh, armpit.
I feel like Armpit has risen for me.
Yeah, probably right.
Yeah, and for I feel like for many reasons, but the one that stands out the most is that Armpit, like aside from the somewhat whack characterization forced upon him, as we touched on with like the bar girl and that sort of thing, I feel like Armpit doesn't really do anything wrong the entire movie, or in the sense like that he stays true to himself, and he you know he's presented as like the comic relief guy, like the blundering whoa, wacky armpit, but he saves Dwayne's life where he would 100% have died.
Yeah,
He bargains with Dwayne, like, I will save your life if you Like it's not like if you give me $1 billion or
Yeah,
whatever it is.
let me in is
Yeah,
what he's saying.
let me be a part of this. And Dwayne is like, oh yeah, sure, I just don't want to die. And as late as this very watch, we mentioned how it's so fucked up how Armpit doesn't get to like stand with Dwayne
Yeah,
during the epilogue. Like he's you'd barely even see he's there. Only if you watch the movie as many times as we do, you see him there. And it's not no, it is not made clear. However, if Dwayne held true to his promise at
yeah,
all. And it's horrible considering because the Armpit saves Dwayne's ass again.
yeah,
Like at the end when it's like when he blows up the temple with the torch and all that, because you could be like, oh, but Dwayne had already won against Memnon, but Armpit is responsible for actually winning by wiping out the guards and all that stuff, because otherwise it would be Dwayne
yeah.
killing Memnon, and then the guards would just cut down everyone and then gone and kill Dwayne. So basically, Armpit is the real hero
Yeah,
in
I
my
think
eyes.
Armpit is pretty great. He isn't funny,
No,
but when you stop thinking about him as the comic relief,
yeah,
that doesn't matter. Because no one in the movie is funny,
no,
so who cares? I maybe this is sacrilege. I'd put him above No Mortal. I'd give
yeah.
him that. I'd give
Sure,
Armpit.
I feel that's fine. I mean, this is a main character of
Yeah,
the movie. I mean, it's fine for him to be above No Mortal.
we
Like
got
that's my
four
point.
characters left. Let's do the big three.
Yeah. Okay.
Who do you want to
Uh,
start with?
we haven't talked about the sorceress at all. It feels like
Yeah,
so. Let's take the sorceress.
where are you, sorceress? There she is.
Uh, I feel like the sorceress has extremely few redeeming qualities,
Yeah,
if any. It's very hard to find one, both like from a meme perspective, but also from like I feel like most of the like very like serious critical analysis we've done of the movie and like the plot and like framing and all that stuff, it has been critical of the
yeah.
sorceress as a character.
I'll say
Uh,
that pretty much all of my positive feelings on the sorceress can all be attributed to Kelly Who.
yeah,
I don't dislike Kelly Who. I
no,
think she seems like a fine enough
yeah,
person. I'm sad that Chuck Russell and the crew decided that her character had to be what it is. But
mm,
the sorceress fucking sucks. She fucking
yeah,
blows.
literally sucks.
Yeah.
So so yeah, I don't feel like elaborate. If you want to know how I feel about or how we feel about sorceress, watch any episode of this podcast. I'm sure she's brought up a million times about
Yeah.
how incredibly flawed her character is and how she doesn't make any sense at all. Her motivations are unintentionally dubious to such a degree that you became a crackpot in order to
Yes.
make sense of them,
I believe
from
I
which
I
you
did
might have
not
not recovered.
become a crap god. I think that
You
you.
presently you are still and there ever shall be a crackpot of some
Uh,
import.
I'll say that. Do you have a place where you would put her?
Top E,
Top E.
yes.
I'm having a hard time. Okay, this is hard for me. We might need to do some housekeeping here because I feel like I would not put the sorceress above Oscar Isaac. I would probably put her above.
Mm.
Okay, sorry, maybe that's fucked up. I wouldn't put her above Chessman,
Okay, bottom E then.
but I would probably put her above her the brother. I'm
Okay,
okay. I'm okay with.
that's fine with me. Put her next to Chessman.
I'll do that. I just have to figure out how the fuck this. Uh. Oh. Yeah. There we go. I'll say. Well, let's do Balthazar.
Mm. Mm.
Balthazar, a character I feel like we always discuss in some way, but we
Yes.
seldomly have a sort of singular opinion on the character.
No. You should just keep me like that. Because of his vagueness, he goes in many tears once. No, but okay.
It was sort of interesting last watch because I feel like we had an arc of Balthazar being a very positive character to begin with,
Yes.
and then there was definitely has been a questioning arc of like,
Yeah.
I don't know
I
about
think I
this.
think but I feel like for me it's because I feel like I started to view Balthazar as way too Dwayne positive
Yeah,
in a lot of words. Like I focused in a lot on where he is, what glory will be left for me, and it will be a good king, I think, and like
yeah,
then how stupid it is that he, comes around to do to side with Dwayne, which feels like a complete like it's just he just does because they write it like that, and the awful dialogue of the "you'll stand alone against armies" is like yes, well okay, I'm on your team now.
yeah,
I hate it. The good parts of Balthazar, he is an early propagator, whatever, of getting a solid laugh every watch with the
yeah,
yelling,
yeah, absolutely.
especially the double one, which I enjoy immensely
It's interesting to
every time.
me with Balthazar because a lot of the Balthazar positive discourse
Mm,
as of late is, I think, something that spawns from me and you. I think I feel like I can talk for the both of us here.
mm.
That sort of stems from uh, us being protective and defensive
Yeah,
of Michael Clark Duncan,
exactly.
where we have things like the really fucked up thing where The Rock just knocked him out.
Mm,
Um, and like just last watch with the Brits, and they were being fucking weird and racist about it,
yeah.
and also just sort of like diminishing because I'm not gonna fuck with Teal'c's legacy as a
Mm,
character, but Michael Clark Duncan I think is on, at least if you're talking about Stargate, on a different
yeah,
fucking echelon of actor. Like, come on.
absolutely.
And he's dead as well. He's fucking dead. Like,
Mm,
put some respect on his name. Uh, so that a lot of I feel kind of protective of
yeah.
Balthasar, and it also feels like this sort of weird thing. It's more enhanced than with Philos because Philos is such a bit character. But in some ways, I'm kind of happy that I've seen this movie this many times
Mm,
because he was such a great actor and he's dead. And no one is ever going to talk positively about the Scorpion King and his part of the
yeah.
Scorpion King. And I think he does a good job in this movie. He's a great
Yeah,
actor,
absolutely.
like, but I don't know if that is conducive to putting him high on a tier list. That's just
Mm,
sort of me feeling weird about Michael
yeah.
Clark Duncan.
You know where I would put him? You don't have to, I would put him between Pharaon and the camel.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I think I'm okay with it. I don't know. I might actually put him top of B. I think this
Yeah,
might be the part where I say, to me, it's obvious that Farron is high B and not A
mm,
because I think Balthasar has to go above
yeah,
him.
absolutely. And
We,
and I would feel better about putting Balthasar in top B rather than bottom A
yeah,
because
yeah,
that feels higher.
yeah. He is a king after all.
Yeah. Well, if I am no king, then why are all of the other bees below me?
We have,
You know what? Take Dwayne now because I
yeah,
want to save Forak for last.
yes. I was going with you there.
Yeah,
I'm definitely with you. This is for me. This is a quick one.
yeah.
This is a fucking quick one.
So you'd think that this would be, oh, let's really dive in,
Yeah,
but I feel like it speaks for itself.
yeah. He's the bottom. He's the worst.
Yeah,
He's
absolute bottom.
easily the worst character in the movie.
No, and this is not like this isn't only like and not that's a bit or whatever, but it's not we're hating on Dwayne, stupid
Yeah,
Dwayne.
yeah. You should say we are definitely also
Yeah,
hating on Dwayne.
yes,
Like
we
we're
hate
doing
Dwayne
that.
Johnson. Dwayne Johnson, the person, we don't like him, but but Matthias is an awful character on every level and completely not protagonist material in any sort of story.
Yeah.
Like, because he's not a hero. He is not an anti-hero by any means.
Yeah, he's
He's just
super
nothing.
inconsistent. He's
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah. Like there is no characterization going on here at all. Every scene, like every camera cut of this character has completely changed.
Yeah.
There is no consistency. It's bad storytelling. It is dramaturgically offensive. I say no, sir, to and good day to the entire thing. He is the worst character in the movie,
Yeah.
hands down.
Okay. I'm gonna do something here before we move on to Thorak, which will be the last guy we do. Do you want to do any housekeeping? Are you fine with the list as it is currently, space wise, where characters are put?
Uh, I'm doing a quick survey.
We
Uh,
might do something up here, I guess, but
yeah. From the bottom, like F, E, and D, I'm pretty fine with. It's okay. C, Mr. Potato definitely should be there. And I feel like the rest of C is also fine. B, also fine. Uh, it feels a bit weird to put uh, what did we call him? The what watcher the watcher? Wait, no, the party goer, noble guy. Uh,
what was he called? He's called the minder of business.
yeah, the minor. It feels a bit weird to put him above Balthazar. I must
Hmm.
admit.
Is it because he's black?
Yes, I'm racist,
I don't know. I guess it is a bit weird. Uh,
but it's a bit funny too.
it also is a bit funny. I think there's, to me, a thing with the minder of business is not only is it very funny,
Mm,
there are no negative qualities to the minder of business. There is
that's
nothing
true.
like
That's
he's
absolutely
only a
true.
positive force in the movie, and we're
Yeah,
ranking the people in the movie.
Balthazar definitely has negative qualities.
Yes.
That's true.
I think I'm fine with the
Yeah, I'm
current
fine with it.
placing.
Let's go for it. Let's go for Forak.
Yeah, okay. So we have Thorak. Uh, I'm interested in hearing where you will put him because I have definite opinions here.
Yeah.
But
Before I
yeah, you can expand on it before you say any
yeah, I'll
specific
say
things.
that Forak has never really, in my mind, has never really been had any real like negative qualities. Though I will say that Forak, I feel, has been on a huge rise,
Yeah,
like in the last 10, 15 watches. Philos has contributed hugely to Forak's rise since we started saying "Can't you leave me alone, Forak?"
yeah,
That has been a huge factor because it's an extremely funny line, which has been used across the land in all manners of
yes.
contexts, unimaginably based line. Uh, and
There's so
furthermore,
there's a thousand Doranas. There's the whole
yeah,
Dorana discussion.
thousand
There's the
Duranas,
arrow.
yeah,
There's the fucking
throwing the
cave.
guards, uh, yeah, like the cave, you first, how he also, how he probably would have just mangled Dwayne if not for the sandstorm.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, well,
uh,
give me your thoughts here. Give me your
I'll be perfectly honest with you, and this is not just like to put a sting on the episode towards the end here, but I will put him next to Memnon. I will put Forak next to Memnon, and you don't have to agree. It's fine,
so
but
here.
yeah, just behind Memnon, because I feel like Forak, and I don't know much about the actor who plays Forak, but He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, it's a
Or,
Ralph Mueller, I think.
yeah, and he's been in a lot of movies, and but like what I like so much about Forak is that somewhat similar to Armpit, which I kind of like that they are rather close in this tier list, is that he is a character that remains true to himself in the movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like he is along with Memnon, is the polar opposite of Dwayne. Not because they are antagonists, but because they are consistent characters, and their characterization remains true the entire time you know them during the
Mm.
movie. And uh, aside from these things, Forak has great lines. Like every line is gold. We talked about
Yeah.
how quotable some movies are extremely quotable, and I feel like Forak, in terms of things we say about this movie, like shit Forak says is just like things we just say in
Yeah.
daily life. We
Yeah.
just say can't you leave me alone Forak, which technically Philo says,
Yeah.
but whatever, and so on. It's I think he's great. I like seeing him on screen. I like his delivery of stuff. I like how he says yes my lord when he takes the bird or whatever or whatever. It's definitely a bird, and so on. I just think Forak is neat,
Mm.
and that's why I'll
So
put him that
yeah,
high.
I think you make a lot of compelling arguments for putting him next to Memnon, and while I do think it's a good placement, I will not take that from you. I will race you Thorak running down the fucking stairs and Shad walking through the door at the bath.
Yeah,
Thorak is the best
absolutely. That's
character
true.
in the fucking movie.
Absolutely,
He's
and
the
it's so
top of
good.
S.
That part is so good because that I feel like similarly to the light reflector, that's the kind of thing that was this was in the movie the entire
Yeah, it
time,
was
and it took
hidden.
so
It was
long.
there, but
It took so long for someone to say, wait a minute, is it Forak who breaks in the door? And it's just so amazing to think about, because it's like, you first, Frozen, like before the guys fucking land, he's
yeah,
already
he's
down there.
already down
It's
there.
it's it's, it's like Dwayne has barely gotten up. Forak is already beating down the doors like The Shining. It's like, and we're thinking about, at some point I think we talked about, unrelated to that, like how like something how many guards are there in the palace,
yeah,
why is how are these guys like, is this Memnon's elite guys, what does the red garb signify, that sort of thing. And now of course, and like, why is Forak the leader, what was Forak before he joined, who gives it, Forak
yeah,
is obviously the top G of the entire movie, of Memnon's, as in, and like he is the literal like Total Warhammer, Legendary Lord, Army Soloer.
yes,
If it wasn't for a stupid fucking sandstorm, Dwayne would be pyttipanna, as we say in
yes.
Sweden. He would be
Also,
gone.
I should say, if fucking Matthias didn't have a cheating ass sorceress, he would also
Yes.
have just drawn game. Draw game.
Yeah. Forak is, at the end of the day, this is a allegedly some sort of sword and sorcery movie,
Yeah.
and sword and sorcery is about it's about humanity, people meeting challenges, warriors, like the romance of it all. And at looking at this list, who are the two tops? That sounds wrong. The two top contenders
yes.
of this entire thing. It is of course the ultimate warrior, Forak, and then the ultimate swordsman, Memnon, because
Yes.
Forak uses an axe, not a sword.
Yes.
So that's why. So that's it.
That's
I
the
feel like
list. This is the final list.
this irrefutable list.
Yes.
If you are a person who is on this list and see this list and you don't like where you are obviously not Ralph Mueller or Stephen Brand, and therefore wrong, because they are in the right place. Everyone is in the right place. And if you are someone who is not on this list and believe that you have any sort of credible opinion that or argument to dispute anything on this list, you are not qualified and you are wrong
Yeah, I'll say it
empirically.
instead. I'll do it for you, Oscar. If you disagree with this, you are either wrong or an idiot and wrong, and don't talk to us.
Please never talk to me
Or Ralph
or Lil
Mueller again.
or, or Ralph Mueller ever again.
Would you, Oscar, recommend watching The Scorpion King and primarily keeping your eyes on Ralph Mueller?
Absolutely.